Hello everyone, welcome to D&D News. How's it going? I'm Greg Tito, and I am going to be telling you all the fun stuff that's happening in D&D world as we get ready for the Waffle Crew. For Dice Camera Action episode 103 is coming hot on the heels of this here broadcast in just about 29 minutes. That's pretty exciting. How are you all doing in chat? I see all of my friends there. You were just probably watching me not 20 minutes ago and speaking to Jeremy Crawford about all of the questions that you submitted. So thank you to everyone who did submit questions. I'm sorry if we didn't get to yours. Just as an FYI, we like to ask Jeremy design questions or clarifications rather than like when next things are coming out and that type of thing. So that's usually reserved for Nathan Stewart as far as when things are coming out, even though he does spoil quite a bit. To that end, we will not be having a fireside chat with Nathan or Spoiler Swag or whatever it's called now. This week, this Friday, there will not be one. There may be one next Friday, but just want to make sure everybody was aware in chat that none of that going on this week. Also, as far as Twitch scheduling stuff goes, we have 4 p.m. Pacific Time, Dice Camera Action episode 103, as I said. And then we have... here on Tuesday, that is everything that's happening. Wednesday, tomorrow, we have Assassin with Dungeon Master Neil Erickson, aka Koibu. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. If you haven't been watching that show, it's a one-on-one adventure with Rob Barrera as the player, and each week they have to take out another assassin target, which I think is a pretty cool, interesting way take on Dungeons & Dragons play. I like the one-on-one style as well as the kind of, not monster of the week, but that idea of like, oh, there being a different quantum leap style solving of a puzzle. Maybe it's more like a Murder, She Wrote, except a murder he did. So kind of fun stuff going on there. We'll be hosting D&D Beyond at 1 p.m. Tomorrow on Wednesday. And then Acquisitions Incorporated is also going on at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, so go check that out if you can. On Thursday, we've got Codename Entertainment talking all about Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. That's at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, probably talking about how Diath is now available within Idle Champions. That's right. Jared Knabenbauer's character Diath, the rogue, is available as a character within Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. You can recruit him into your party alongside Strix and Evelyn if you so choose, or some of the characters from Force Grey like Arkin or Jamila or Hitch, or one of the many characters from Dungeons & Dragons lore, such as Jarlaxle is one that you can recruit. Minsk and Boo you can recruit as well. Tons of fun characters. You send them out on adventures and they go and kill stuff. So you'll learn more about that game from the devs themselves at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Thursday. Waffle Talk is when we host on 4 p.m. Pacific Time. That's Power Score RPG going through all of the happenings of the most recent Dice Camera Action episode, the one that you guys are going to watch in about 25 minutes. So that's always cool. You should totally do that as much as possible. And then at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, Holly Conrad, aka Strix, is dungeon mastering Trapped in the Birdcage, season 2, episode 3. And last year they broke Will out of prison. Last week they broke Will out of prison, and they have to go to a spaceship. What? A spaceship? That sounds crazy, but I love it. So on Friday, we've got the Beamdog Weekly Dev Stream at 10 a.m., Adventurers Wanted at 11 a.m. That is a Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League show. There have been a bunch of Adventurers League announcements this week, which are pretty exciting, following on the tails of our new announcements for things going. So I'll start going with all those. But before I do get to that, there is Rivals of Waterdeep not live on Sunday. They will be at Gen Con, sad to say, but it will be returning the following week. We'll vodcast the most recent episode of Rivals of Waterdeep. And then, of course, Hell's Bells at 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Sunday. If you can. Last week we had the awesome Founders and Legends Day on Saturday. A whole bunch of streamed games as well as conversations with some of the coolest folks who are doing things within the D&D space, including Stefan Picorni, who is making Dwarven Forge for use at the table. He played an awesome game of a D&D during that session. Luke Gygax was also there to talk about GaryCon and how GaryCon is doing good stuff. Art and Arcana, the authors behind that, we're talking about that amazing book, collecting all of the artwork and commenting on it. And when I say all of the artwork from 40 plus years of Dungeons & Dragons history, 44 years in fact, are all within that too. So most of the materials should be available for you there. By materials, I mean the, what's it called? The videos should all be available up there for you to check out. So we mentioned Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, of course, at the Stream of Many Eyes. That is an adventure that details all of the fun stuff going on below the City of Splendor. The Mad Mage himself, Halaster Blackcloak, his domain is known as Undermountain, and there are 25 levels. They're all kind of crazy, and it's the perfect jumping off point after Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So I'm getting really excited about this Dungeon of the Mad Mage book out there, and you should be excited about it too, because it's pretty cool. That's what it looks like in the cover form. There we go. We, of course, have been talking about Dragon Heist, and I didn't call up the thing, so pardon me while I do this. But there's this image that I want to make sure you know about. This is the cover of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We announced this on the Stream of Many Eyes. It will be available wide everywhere on September 18th, but you'll get it in core in game stores on September 7th. That's coming up very soon, and we've got some exciting news for a podcast promotion. Podcasts of Waterdeep will be coming later this week, all about what's going to be happening during that release window. Very cool stuff. We also talked about Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica very recently, and that is a wonderful crossover. And of course I had it here somewhere, but now I don't. Where are you, Ravnica? There's your cover. Oh, it should be zoomed in. Totally more zoomed in. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, fancy. Yes, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is all you need to play Dungeons & Dragons in the world of Ravnica, which is a city that goes on forever and ever, sprawls on. There are 10 guilds that are associated with Ravnica. They all have their unique flavor, and all the rules are available in this book for playing as one of those guild members and all of the hijinks that will ensue from that. So you can create a party that has, they're all from one guild. There is rules in there for if you have multiple guilds and multiple things going on. Very cool stuff. That is available on November 9th everywhere. On November 9th in game stores and everywhere on November 20th. So make sure you go and check that out if you can, of course. I already started mentioning a little bit about Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron, which this is now loading for some reason. I don't know why. There it is. Okay, that's what all I wanted to show you was the cover to that, because it's a really cool cover. This is available right now on the Dungeon Masters Guild. It is a 170-page document written by Keith Baker as well as some other creative folks and put through the ringer here at the Dungeons & Dragons office. Great stuff in here about how to run your D&D 5th edition game in the setting of Eberron. It's high magic. It's basically as if low-level magic was ubiquitous, what would happen there. It also takes place after a great war. So you see the character depicted here as a warforged, which is a sentient construct that is dealing with his own issues of life and death and existence and sentience. Maybe not that specific character, but many Warforged characters do have to deal with all those things. So again, you can download this from the Dungeon Masters Guild right now and give us some feedback on what you think about it, and we will be able to make it into an even more robust product very soon. I'm not going to say very soon. I'm going to say soon. Trademark. It is good stuff, and you should check it out. So yeah, on to those Adventurers League things that were mentioned. So Adventurers League is, for those of you who don't know, is the best way that we know to get into and find a group of Dungeons & Dragons players to game with, right? So you can go to a game store, go to any location that is running Adventurers League events, find a group, jump in with a character of the appropriate level, and you'll be able to play content within the campaigns that we have been doing here for 5th edition. Most of those, I want to say all of them up until this point, have been set in the Forgotten Realms using the stories that we have produced from this office. So it began with the I want to say Wrath, but it's not. It's not Wrath. It's Tyranny of Dragons. That's right. Wrath, Tyranny, they're about the same thing. The Tyranny of Dragons campaign. It went on to Princes of the Apocalypse, then to Curse of Strahd, as well as more recently with the Tales from the Awning Portal and the Tomb of Annihilation storylines. We are also doing one for Waterdeep, Dragon Heist. There is a new campaign or story, season. I'm sorry, there's a new season that will detail all that. But that has all been within the Forgotten Realms campaign. Chris Lindsay and his amazing admins from the Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League announced today, in fact, that there will be another campaign for the Adventurers League using the Eberron setting. So the Forgotten Realms campaign will still exist. We'll still get amazing amounts of support from adventure writers, as well as the ability to play in a shared universe in the Forgotten Realms. We're adding to that by adding the Eberron to that list. It'll be an exploratory campaign, so we'll be trying out some new things, figuring out ways that players interact with that campaign through the Adventurers League. The admins have got a lot of great stuff planned, so watch that space. You can follow Chris Lindsay on Twitter. His is at Onatrix. Maybe we could throw that on there, but there's more and more fun stuff coming on the way. But we just want to make sure everybody knows that we will be supporting Eberron with a Adventurers League campaign. So that's pretty exciting. All right, that was enough on that. I wanted to very quickly talk a little bit about Syrinscape. So Syrinscape is a new partner for Dungeons & Dragons. They create a soundboard with a whole bunch of sounds that basically allow dungeon masters to create a soundscape or a Syrinscape, if you will, for their players as they're adventuring, right? So it's easy to use. I've been playing around a lot with it very recently, and I quite enjoy it, but there's definitely more stuff to learn. But it is a fantastic tool, and they are working on a sound set that is specifically for Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So they will have sounds happening within the Awning Portal, for example, or read aloud text that might be happening within the adventure itself, and it's all being recorded by Benjamin Looms at Syrinscape, as well as using vocal talent that you may recognize, is what I'm going to say. You might just recognize it. We'll see. I am tweaking it right now so that you'll be able to hear exactly what I'm talking about, but because it is pretty cool. So let me get the right thing going here, and let me see if you can actually hear this now. You ready for this? You all ready for this? Can you hear that? Yeah. That's what happens in the Awning Portal. This is just a preview of what the sound set is going to look like. But here is, just so you know, yeah, it could sound like hell. This is Rudy Rutenberg as Durnan. Could you hear that? I don't know if you could hear that or not. But this is an even more fun one. Who's this?
You'll be adventurous. Am I right? I could use your help. Let's find it to the top.
Here's a quick thing. Don't double click when you're using a Syrinscape, because then it creates poof, 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 two things. So I was playing the same sound file twice there. That's why it quite sounded like that. Not because of user error, as they say. Here's one more.
Well, thank God. Chronicler, wizard, and celebrity, at your service. I trust you've noticed the violence in our fair city these past 10 days? I haven't seen so much blood since my last visit to Baldur's Gate. But now I feel I have misplaced a friend with this odious blood. My friend's name is Floon Black. He's got more beauty than brains.
Good stuff, right? So, you'll be able to download that Soundscape is being planned to come out directly when you'll be able to pick up the adventure for Waterdeep Dragon Heist in stores on September 7th. So, good stuff there. Our friends at Soundscape will be at Gen Con this week to record more sounds from the audience and or people at the thing with their sound booth. So go look for them there if you were going to be at Gen Con this year. Good stuff. Cool. All right. I'm gonna move along to other fun things happening in the world. So yeah, we haven't done this before, but I'm gonna try to show off some video of what. Here, I'm gonna give you a little bit of setup. So our partners at WizKids are creating D&D Icons of the Realms miniatures. So these are pre-painted miniatures for Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. There's going to be 5 smaller minis set for this. You'll be able to get them as a set, I believe. But here are some of the sculpts that you'll be able to obtain this fall as we get closer to the release of Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Looking pretty sweet. One of them is Niv Mizzet, which is a red dragon. It's a premium figure, so we'll give you some ways for you to be able to pick up that. But Niv is the genius guild master of the guild Izzet, so that's pretty exciting. And if of course, you'll be able to use these in any kind of game that you run because they are very cool looking miniatures. But I just want to make sure you could see what they look like. They look. I think these are some of the best minis that WizKids has produced. So I'm getting very excited about it for sure. What do you guys think? Huh? I'm seeing lots of oohs and ahs coming from the chat. So that's very cool. I'm glad you guys are excited as I am about these because I think they look kind of amazing. To answer your question, Funk Everett, they are not out yet. They will be out this fall. I don't have a specific date, but they are going to be timed with the release of Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which, as I said, is going to be in stores November 9th. So I imagine, the goal is to try to get them out around then. So these are pre-painted minis. So I know it's cool that you're into painting minis, Rio, or your friend is just getting into painting minis. But these will be pre-painted, I believe. So you won't have to kind of do that yourself. You'll be able to just get them, which is pretty awesome. All right, cool. I wanted to also highlight some other fun things that are going on, including oh no, not that one. This one. Hold on. I'm getting it ready ahead of time so that I can switch off of it in just the right time. All right, here. This is me multitasking. Can you dig it? Oh no, wait, I forgot to clear that. Clear layer. There we go. Okay, wait, hold on. Now I'm back. There we go. All right, so Adventures Outlined. This coloring book is coming out very soon. It is going to be out on August 21st. So that's less than 20 days away, or 22 days away, people. It is an awesome coloring book, as I said, using the artwork of Todd James in this distinctive line art style. Kind of harkens back to the old school way that D&D books were illustrated, and I just really dig it. So this is the cover, so it's obviously a little bit painted ahead of time, but these are what some of the that's what some of the pages look like. And you see over here there's some text. This text is written by Adam Lee from the Dungeons and Dragons team. And there's just some really fun stuff in here. Some of them are very descriptive of what's happening in the other page. Some of them are very poetry based. And this one says, "Ode to a Lich. There's nothing more foul than a lich. Even a belching witch covered in pitch, stuck in a ditch, is not as foul as a lich." Which is very true. All those things are very true. And only Adam Lee would know those things. So again, you can pick this up on August 21st. I love the iconic art, and the flavor text just adds so much more to what's going on. So I dig it. I really do. Cool beans. So other fun stuff I want to talk to you about. So Dice Camera Action is going to be starting in just about 10 minutes. All of the Dice Camera Action episodes are now available on the podcast feed. That's right. There's the Dice Camera Action podcast feed. You can subscribe to it on iTunes and Google Play. All of the episodes are up and there, except for the 5 special episodes that were the crossover episodes with the Waffle Crew. Those should be up momentarily, probably by the by the beginning of next week at the very latest. Of course, I say that now, and it may take a little bit longer. But we're working on getting those videos up with the correct intros and everything like that. But that being said, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3 of Dice Camera Action are all available there on the podcast in audio form only. So you can go back, re-listen to old episodes if you wanted to catch up on something that occurred back in time, or if you're just new and getting into Dice Camera Action right now, this is a great way to consume some of that content while you're doing other things, driving, going to work, that type of stuff. So I suggest you check that out. It's pretty cool. There's also some other fun things that I want to make sure everyone knows about Dice Camera Action, and that is a wiki. That's right. We worked with Sean McGovern at PowerScore RPG to create a wiki that contains all of the information that we think is relevant to Dice Camera Action fans. It's been live for quite a while, but I want to make sure everyone knows and uses this as much as possible. If you have a question about, like, say, who Waffles is, or when did they first meet Waffles, you can delve into the wiki. There's recaps for every single episode that comes out. And that's all hyperlinked within it. So if they reference something from previous episodes, there will be links back to it. It's very useful tool, and we're excited about figuring out ways to integrate that even more with the streaming programming that we're doing with Dice Camera Action. So more things will be coming hopefully from that, but it's very awesome, and I would love for you all to start using the wiki as much as you can. Like I said, it's just a great tool. If you're ever confused or interested, even just throw links into the chat can be helpful for new fans who may not know exactly why something that Chris says is such a great reference to episode 45 or something. I'm just pulling that number out of the head. But if you happen to remember the episode, you can throw the link in there. I just think it's really cool, and I really appreciate all the work that Sean McGovern did in making the wiki a thing. So please do use the tool, and you maybe even add to it if you think that there's something that you can that you can contribute to it, for sure. Want to let everyone know about Dragon Plus. That issue, the newest issue, will be coming out. It's issue 21. It'll be coming out next week. So not this week, but next week, a new issue will be coming. There's lots of great preview content for what's to come in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. If you don't know what Dragon Plus is, it is an app that you can download on your Android device or on iOS, or access all that content on the web at dragonmag.com. There are bi-monthly issues, usually around a certain theme. The theme for this new issue coming up is kids, children, banking on all of the fun stuff that we have got going on, as well as the Dice Camera Action episode that included some kids, some playing of kids, which was last week. That is very cool. All right, so I wanted to shout out a little bit of press that Dungeons & Dragons has been getting from around the world. This one is from Kotaku. Cameron Kuntleman is the weekend editor over there, and he's a great guy and a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons, but he's been highlighting some fun stuff in the Dungeon Masters Guild, and this one is fantastic. It is all about 100 monster hunts that you can use, and links within it. So shout out to everybody at Kotaku who's been really getting into Dungeons & Dragons a lot, Cameron being a big proponent of that. But, and of course there's some video game stuff there in the highlight and in a headline about making your players feel like witchers from that whole video game series, and you can totally do that with this supplement. So I think the concept behind this is there's 100 monster hunts in a table, and you can roll a percentile die and basically generate random side quests for your characters. And knowing PCs out there, that side quest might just turn into an actual real quest. So that's some fun stuff there. Thank you again to everyone who is highlighting that work. Also, our friend Jason Wilson at VentureBeat has been talking a lot about Dungeons and Dragons as well as what's going on in tabletop in general. And he also highlights how the Dungeon Masters Guild is a fantastic way for D&T to resurrect old settings, talking about how Eberron, we have the Wayfinder's Guide in there, but he is very excited about everything that we're doing on that front. And he even goes and says that the DM's Guild is my favorite project from the Dungeons and Dragons team in recent years. It's more than just a storefront. It's the D&D spreading their arms wide open and encouraging people to create adventures, items, and more for a game they all love. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Jason. And I love that it's getting more attention in, I wouldn't say mainstream press, but at least more attention in the, say, video game press for stuff like that. So also wanted to highlight some of the reactions that people had to Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica and the Magic crossover. So Sci-Fi wrote this amazing article about what it's like when two iconic fantasy games cross over with each other after all these years. It's definitely a good read. You should check it out if you can. There is a lot of excitement and talk about this. I think there's Magic fans who have always wanted to jump into the world and play it in a more creative storytelling way, and there's D&D fans who love the lore behind the realms of Magic and would love to also interact with a story like that. If you are a fan of the flavor text or any of the characters within Magic, this is the time to really kind of jump into it, and it seems like a lot of people are realizing that, not just as fans but as press as well, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, Screen Rant also wrote something along those lines as well. So I really I am loving all the attention on this project, and I can't wait for more to drop. So if you are excited about Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, there are these custom dice set that you can get now. So it comes in a nice circular tin. There, in this dice set, you will get everything you need to play a D&D game, including a D10 that has the guild symbol for all the 10 guilds of Ravnica on it. So you can use this in character generation. I believe James Wyatt most recently showed this off on a Magic stream about in character creation. It's kind of a fun randomizing element to roll that die to see what guild your character will now be a member of. Fun stuff happening there. This will be out around November when the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica book is in stores, so look for it there. And I think this tin looks really cool. I like how it kind of uses the cover color palette for it on the tin, and as well as all the city there. So I think that's really cool. You can see my little cursor bopping up and down as I'm talking about why it's cool. All right. So what else do I want to mention? Oh yeah, we talked about these things. You remember these things? These are pretty cool. Are you guys excited? What? Extreme close up on these core sets. So we are reprinting the core rule books for Dungeons and Dragons. We released these in 2014. We've been printing them pretty much constantly ever since then. But we are printing them for a core rulebooks set. You'll get it in this really attractive cardboard slipcase. There's two versions. This one is the alternate cover version that will only be available in game stores. You can get that on, I believe, November 30th, 13th? I don't know. One of those. It's in November. No, actually, I'm lying. It's actually in October, I think. Now that I think about it. You think? What do you think?
I'm not sure.
Pelham, why don't you know these things?
I will know it before next time.
You will know it before next time, and we'll add it to our like fun little document here. I think I did add it, didn't I? Nope. 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 I'm a terrible person. They're coming out soon. That's all you got to really know about. But these, like I said, will be in game stores, and you can pick them up for folks on your list. This is the other set that is not the alternate cover version made by Hydro 74. These are just little tweaks to the cover and things like that, but it's all available in one slot. You'll also get the Dungeon Master screen in that awesome looking slipcase. So if you're excited about getting more of your friends or family into Dungeons and Dragons, this is going to be the perfect way to do it, and it'll be out for the holiday season for sure. All right, so I have talked plenty. Again, I'm really excited about Dice Camera Actions episode 103. You should be too. It is going to be awesome, and we will be back with more Dungeons & Dragons news next week. All right. Thanks everybody for listening and or watching. You're good people. Have fun.